So here we go, the top 10 starting rotations going into 2021 according to MLB.com. At the 10th spot, we have the Cincinnati Reds, which is very impressive considering they lost the Cy Young Award winner, Trevor Bauer. He goes to the Dodgers. So I'm curious where the Dodgers are going to stack up. Are they going to be number 2? Are they going to be number 3? But let's focus on the Reds. They're led by Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, Tyler Mahle, Wade Miley. I completely forgot that Wade Miley was on the Reds. You have Michael Lorenzen, who I thought was a relief pitcher, and the last but not least, TJ Antone. For me, TJ Antone is one of those guys that can be really good, and no one is going to talk about him because last year he was one of the better pitchers on the Reds, but no one gave him any credit because his offense was so bad every time that he was on the mound. I believe that when he was pitching, the Reds gave him the worst offensive output in all of baseball. So I did feel bad for him. However, I don't think that's going to be a problem in 2021, and led by Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo, who probably has the best changeup in all of baseball, I really like this rotation. Wow, so the Cincinnati Reds are not even going to be ahead of the A's. This is, okay. They went with the A's at the number 9 spot with Chris Bassett, who had a pretty good 2020 but was roughed up in the playoffs. You have Jesus Luzardo, the young stud, Frankie Montas, Sean Manaea, Dalton Jeffries, and then we have AJ Puk. Hey guys, put your pitchforks down. I'm sorry, it's AJ Puk. Do not say Puk, who in my opinion could be the best pitcher on the A's in the next 2 years. He's pretty much, I'm not going to say he's the next Randy Johnson, but if we're talking about builds, he is 6'5", 6'6". He's young, who throws 99 to 100 miles an hour from the left side. He is disgusting. He cut his hair, and the last time that we saw a player cut his hair, it was Jacob deGrom, who then became the best pitcher in baseball. So yeah, AJ Puk might be onto something, but putting the A's above the Reds, I wouldn't do that. The Cleveland Indians at the 8th spot. All right, they better prove something because, wow, 8. They went from the best staff to the 8th staff after they traded Carlos Carrasco to the Mets, but then he had an injury. I'm hoping that he comes back healthy. It's just, when it comes to trades, you can never really project how well it's going to go out because any guy can get injured. But let's stay on the subject of today's video. Shane Bieber, Zach Plesac, Aaron Savali, Tristan McKenzie, Logan Allen. He has been fantastic in spring. Let's see if he can keep that up. And then Cal Quantrill, he has all of the talent in the world. He just has to stay consistent, and I would say that he's probably going to be the odd man out. So with Shane Bieber as one of the better pitchers in baseball, Zach Plesac, very underrated. A lot of people think that he's a knucklehead off the field. I've met him in person. I would say he's a pretty nice guy. He was just caught in a bad situation. Aaron Savali, very underrated, and McKenzie, a extremely high ceiling. Putting the Indians at number 8, that's a little risky. The Chicago White Sox are a very interesting team because there is one name on this list that could end up being the best out of anyone in that rotation, but it's going to take a lot of effort, and heck, it might even take some luck. So we have Lucas Giolito, who was dominant this spring. Dallas Keuchel was fantastic in 2020. Lance Lynn, their newest addition. And then this man right here, Dylan Cease, he is pretty much a shorter Tyler Glasnow. However, he has not had a breakout season like Glasnow did back in 2019, so we're still waiting for Dylan Cease to be that guy, but he throws 100. He's got a devastating curveball and off-speed mix. If he can just not give up the home runs and really command the strike zone, he could end up being better than Lucas Giolito. That's how highly touted he is to me. I could be overreacting, but then to round out the rotation, you have Carlos Rodon, Michael Kopech, who is another young stud coming back from Tommy John surgery, and then Ronaldo Lopez, who probably is the worst starting pitcher in baseball. But then sometimes he's good. He is very confusing to me. The Braves at number 6 with Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Mike Soroka, who looked really sharp in his spring debut. I'm thanking the baseball gods that he came back healthy. Let's not jinx him, hoping that he stays that way. Mike Soroka as the 3 starter with Ian Anderson, Drew Smiley, Kyle Wright with his 95-mile-an-hour sinker, and Bryce Wilson, who was pretty good a year ago. I think that the Braves should be a top 3 rotation, but maybe I'm just not recollecting the other teams in baseball and how good they are. But when I'm looking at Fried, Charlie Morton, and Mike Soroka, and also Ian Anderson as your number 4 starter, I'm getting Smoltz, Maddox, and Glavine vibes. I don't know about you guys, but these guys are legit. Yeah, let's see who is the number 5 spot. You have the New York Mets led by Jacob deGrom, obviously the best pitcher in baseball. Carlos Carrasco, Marcus Stroman, Taijuan Walker, Joey LaCasey, David Peterson, and Noah Syndergaard. So for me, the only reason why the Mets would be above a team like the Braves is because of Jacob deGrom. Aside from that, I would say depth-wise, they're both pretty good, but to me, Carlos Carrasco, I'm not sure if he's as good as Mike Soroka at this point in this career. Marcus Stroman, I'm not sure if he's as good as Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson has shown that he can be a top 20 pitcher in all of baseball, so no disrespect on any of those guys, and we don't know if Noah Syndergaard is going to stay healthy for all of 2021, but because deGrom is on the squad, I can understand why they are a top 5 rotation. To me, that makes sense, and Carrasco, I hope that he comes back healthy because they're going to need him. Also, David Peterson, very underrated. He's kind of like the Jordan Montgomery of the National League, just someone that gets the job done, doesn't get talked about a lot, but pretty solid. The Nationals, okay, the only names that we really have to consider as to why they're at the number 4 spot is one, Max Scherzer, a 3-time, maybe even 4-time Cy Young Award winner, Patrick Corbin, Steven Strasburg, the 2019 World Series MVP, John Lester, he's old, but maybe he can provide some experience to younger guys like Eric Fedde, Joe Ross, and Austin Voth. Austin Voth was not good last year. The Nationals ahead of the Mets, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, unless Steven Strasburg is healthy 100%, I don't believe that they have a better rotation than the Mets. I'm not sure if you guys agree with that or not, but I like deGrom, Carrasco, Stroman, Peterson, Noah Syndergaard. I just feel like that depth is a whole lot better than the Nationals. The Yankees at number 3. Okay, let's talk about it. Garrett Cole, Corey Kluber, Jameson Taillon, Jordan Montgomery, Domingo Germán, who was just given the number 5 spot. Debbie Garcia was in fact sent down, and then we're all waiting for Luis Severino to come back and hopefully come back healthy. It's probably not going to happen until the All-Star break, but when he is on top of his game, he is easily one of the most electric players in all of baseball. We all saw what Dinelson Lamet did a year ago. He was in the Cy Young conversation. He's pretty much prime Luis Severino. That's how good of a pitcher that he is, and I'm hoping that he comes back fairly soon. But when you have Garrett Cole, Montgomery has been dialed in for the last year and a half. Domingo Germán has had a fantastic spring, which backs up his pretty good years as a rookie and second-year starter. Debbie Garcia is going to be a monster, in my opinion, once he actually gets called up. So the Yankees at number 3, which is surprising to say, with Corey Kluber and Jameson Taillon as kind of the wild cards. I can see why they're a top 5. Maybe not 3, but top 5 for sure. The San Diego Padres, led by the newest additions of Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, and Joe Musgrove. Now, we'll talk about Dinelson Lamet because he is coming back from injury. Again, if you did not take a look at any of his starts from 2020, he throws so hard and his slider is so good. He is one of the one right-handed hitters that even as a lefty, it cannot be a comfortable at-bat. And same with Yu Darvish. Whether you're a right-handed hitter or a lefty, it's not comfortable. Blake Snell, one of the better postseason pitchers of all time. Chris Paddock, hoping for a bounce back year. And then the top prospect, or I think a top 10 prospect, and Mackenzie Gore. That's why they gave away Zach Davies. That's why they gave away Joe LaCasey, because honestly, there's not really any more room for any other pitcher. And Mackenzie Gore, out of all the names that we just mentioned, Darvish, Snell, Lamet, we haven't even talked about Mike Clevenger because he won't be back until next season. The Padres are going to be stacked pitching-wise for the next 5 years. And then who is the number 1 team? Obviously, we have the Dodgers, led by Clayton Kershaw, who is projected as the ace according to MLB.com. Trevor Bauer, the reigning Cy Young Award winner. Walker Buehler. Julio Urias, who was a stud in the playoffs. David Price, who actually was passed up by Dustin May. Dustin May has been proven to be a Sixto Sanchez-like player. He is so filthy, and I think that he might have found the command over spring training and the offseason because, again, he won the number 5 spot. So David Price and Tony Gonsolin are the 2 odd guys out. But David Price has won a Cy Young. Trevor Bauer and Clayton Kershaw have won a Cy Young. So many dudes in that rotation have playoff experience, Cy Young Award experience, relief experience. I mean, the Dodgers are so good at what they do. How many homegrown guys? So you have Clayton Kershaw, homegrown, Walker Buehler, Julio Urias, Dustin May, and Tony Gonsolin. All of those guys, I think, are homegrown. In my opinion, over the last 10 years, they have surpassed the Yankees as the cream of the crop franchise in all of baseball because whether it's development or trading for players or signing players, they do it all, and honestly, I wish I was a Dodgers fan. That pretty much does it for today's video. I do want to throw out one more team that did not make the cut, but I think they could be really good and underrated. The Miami Marlins. When you have Sixto Sanchez, a young stud, and Trevor Rogers dominating spring training, you have, what's his name, Eliezer Hernandez or something like that, who was pretty good a year ago, Pablo Lopez. I believe that the Marlins can do some damage with their pitchers, and not a lot of people are talking about them as a top 10, 15 rotation in baseball. But thank you all so much for watching. If you missed the top 10 lineups, I will put that in the card. I think it's in the top right. Click on that, have some fun. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.